Hey everybody, back again, and today I've got a new toy. It's a 20-ton shop press. Now I'm gonna go build it. Be right back. So as you can see, I've got one side of the base assembled. Got some supports I've got to attach, then I've got to mirror this on the other side.
1 hour later.
So yes, before you ask, this is the Harbor Freight 20-ton self-jack hydraulic press. This will eventually become a steel working press. I'm going to end up drilling a hole right through that section right there so I can mount round tube tools as a top tool. And then let me show you how we're gonna set up the base. So as you can see, it comes with these two bottom plates. They are coated in this paint or whatever this cover is. I'm going to grind this off smooth, nice and clean, so that way it doesn't burn up when the steel contacts it if it has to. And I'm going to tack weld these plates to the base. This, as I was saying before, this shank's going to get a hole drilled through it so I can put round tube tools on here and put a pin through them to hold them on as top tools. And then we're going to end up getting some square shank pieces of square tube and making bottom tools for it as well. This is going to be a series for the channel for the foreseeable future. If you guys have been watching my content for a while, you would understand why I am getting this critter. I make a lot of swords, axes, and real thick chunkers when it comes to things that I forge out here. And hydraulic presses, traditional hydraulic presses, are quite expensive, like the pneumatic and self-actuating ones that are strong enough to move steel. So what I figure is if I take a 20-ton hand jack press like such and I build top and bottom tools, it'll be slow, yes, but it'll be enough force to spread my metal and push my metal and stretch my steel out without having to pick up that 4.5 pound for quite as long. Just going to take some practice to get this to the speed that I want once I get the tools built. And sometime in the next while, I'm going to get an air compressor with a tank, and then I will replace this with a pneumatically ran jack, so that way I don't have to pump it. Like I was saying, I'm going to have to modify this to work first, so once I've got it modified, I know it functions well, then we can replace this guy, and only then. And he will be our best friend for a long time. Eventually, we're going to give it some character, you know, forge some things to go on top of this just to make it look cooler. They're not going to interfere with the function or help it function any better, but it'll be fun. But yeah, I wanted to make a quick shop update. This is kind of a Christmas/birthday present to myself. I think that after all the metal that I've moved, it's finally time for me to start using a machine to compress and stretch out the longer bits. I just wanted to say a big thank you to all you guys for everything, all the support, all the comments, all the likes, everybody who's purchased something on my Etsy store. A huge thank you. It would not be possible for me to do these things without you guys. There's no way I would have the ability to afford to do what I do if it wasn't for you guys supporting the channel and supporting me by going over there and purchasing what you have on Etsy. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year. We are at this many subscribers right now. We're that close to 1,000, and I didn't think we'd be doing this in 2 years. I think it's been 2 years I've had this channel up, and I'm already almost at 1,000. Let's get to the rest of the video. So in addition to the press and making all those tools that we're going to be making, I've got some pretty fun projects coming up. One of them is going to be another halberd, since you guys seem to love my pole axes. I sold a halberd and another pole axe pretty fast. So this one's going to be another one. We started with a really big ball peen hammer. This was the peen side, and this was the hammer side. I've still got some more drawing out of the blade to do. I've still got some more reshaping of the socket to do. It still looks like a hammer socket, and we're going to change that. But one of the cool things I'm planning for this one is the spike is going to be from a railroad spike. It's not going to have a spear, it's going to have a long spike. Mild steel will be fine for this because we're going to leave it kind of thicker. This is going to be like a big anti-armor spike. We're going to cut the head off the railroad spike, and we're going to drop this down inside of here and forge it closed, and then weld it with the actual welder from both sides, and then forge it into something of a one-piece barb. So all the utilities of this tool will be one piece. We're also going to forge some, weld some languettes and forge those into the head shape as well. So it's going to kind of flow as one piece of steel as opposed to being two separate pieces, where the last one had the languettes and spear and the spike and the axe blade. This is going to have the axe blade, hammer, and spike, but the spike and languettes will be integral. So this is going to be a fun project. As I was saying before about the press, we're going to be making a bunch of tooling for that, so there's going to be a lot of really interesting fabrication going on for these tools. So if you guys like fabrication work, I'm going to be doing a lot of that in 2024. We're going to have to make top tools and bottom tools for that machine. We're going to have to make all kinds of different tools to use that machine to its full capability. 20 tons is 40,000 pounds, and that's a lot of pressure, so that's going to be really cool to see what we can accomplish with that new machine. The first tools I'm going to make are going to be spreading tools. So for those, I'm going to take a bunch of cross pins that I'm going to find from yard sales and scrap and all that kind of stuff, and we're going to cut the peen side off, and we're going to grind these to different shapes. So we have different radiuses that are wider and wider for stretching the material. Those are going to be the first sets of tools I make. We're going to have 2 for each set, you know, top and bottom. But those are going to be the fastest ones. And we're also going to be using this side of the hammer for other tools, so they won't go to waste. If you follow me on TikTok, one thing you would have noticed is on TikTok I have more martial arts content and things like that. I do hold a first-degree black belt in Taekwondo, and I did some Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, and you know, just played around with some other martial arts for a while after I got my black belt. I used to teach Taekwondo for a short time as well, so I'm going to be incorporating some martial arts into it because that is one of my other passions. I do that from time to time just to stay sharp and enjoy myself, just to not lose the skills that I worked so hard to attain. So if you guys like that kind of content, or you know people that like martial arts, I'm going to be uploading martial arts related shorts and maybe even videos that are a couple minutes if there's a want for it. If you guys want that, comment and let me know if you guys want some videos that are a little long form on some martial arts techniques, some Taekwondo techniques, breaking down how to do them, just the basics and things like that, so you guys can have some fun. Or if you do martial arts, you can see, you know, how Taekwondo differs from what you train in. So I hope you guys enjoy that, and we'll see where that takes us, and we'll see how far that content goes. I may only do it for a short time. Those of you that pay close attention would have noticed this room right here. We have basically a dirty room for grinding, cutting, all that stuff, so the sand and sawdust and all that stuff and the grinding dust all stays in this area. These 2 sides here are closable, so I can close this room off when I'm grinding and stuff and keep all the dust from getting into my main forging and workshop area for blacksmithing. We've got a couple of new tools. Down here we got a little handheld bandsaw, metal cutting saw, which is awesome. It's great for cutting thicker stock. We've got a new little bench grinder, and you've seen the lathe already in a couple of videos when we were making the lathe tools. We've also got a jointer that just needs a new belt, and then that'll be up and running. That's for axe handles and such things. But that does it for today's video. If you guys like, go ahead and like. Don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already. The metrics tell me that this much % of people that watch my stuff on a regular basis aren't subscribed. So if you're in that %, go ahead and hit subscribe. Help us hit 1,000. Until next time, God bless. Stay sharp out there. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year if I don't see you before then.